Hi, today's my focus is ReactJS. That is one of the most popular framework today around the world creating a front-end application. So there are thousands and thousands of communities around ReactJS is building up, and the technology is getting popular in the web application development. And today we're gonna see how we integrate ReactJS application for the front end, and then how we integrate the Zilliqa's highly scalable, high throughput backend blockchain platform to that. So we're going to create a small authentication module, just like you're authenticating to your web-based wallet, uploading a keystore file or uploading a private key and then putting the password there and clicking that to authenticate the module. So it's limited to that functionality for today, and moving forward in my next episode I'm going to extend the functionality towards the areas like integrating different use cases like voting systems and freelancer contracts and fundraising or crowdfunding. These sort of real world use cases we're going to integrate later in our episodes. So I highly encourage you to subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed yet to get more exciting videos in the future. This is the application module that we're going to develop. You can see it's loaded in localhost on port 3000, and it has two options, like you can upload the keystore file and you can give the passphrase and then register the wallet. So this one, once you upload a keystore file, this one actually authenticate yourself, your identity against the Zilliqa's platform. So we have a ReactJS basic interface, and then we have an integration to the Zilliqa's backend to authenticate. Now we're going to discuss about how to set up the development environment. So as a very first step, as I told you from the beginning, we need to install Node.js and create a development ecosystem that is essential for any JavaScript application development. So once you install Node.js, you will get an NPM, that is a Node Package Manager, where you can install various packages from the cloud to your local computer. And then install React package as well, that will create an environment where you can run the command to install and work with the ReactJS environment. So these two things we're going to do in next few minutes time. Computer, just type Node.js install, and then we visit the website, and you can see the official website. They've given an option to download Node.js installer directly, and based on Windows, Mac or any other operating system that suit to your operating system, download a package and install that in your computer. It's just installing a package, and then that will give you a Node Package Manager. Let's go back to the command prompt. So we check the Node.js version, and in my computer I have this version. That means everything is fine. So as a second step, I'm going to do is I'm going to install ReactJS essential packages that I'm going to use for my ReactJS application. npm install create react app, and I'm going to install this globally. That's why this -g means it will install all the essentials in global in my computer. It will look like I'm done with my packages, and then I'm going to go to my location that I'm going to create this application. So then I'm going to write the command, which is especially for the ReactJS applications, that is create React app, and then I'm going to give the name. Let's say Zilliqa React. Hit enter. So it will create the application, initialized version of the application in your local computer in the folder. It might take some time. Just fast forward from here. Okay, you can see that everything seems fine till up to this point. Just go back to the folder. Alright, you can see the application is created as it should. Let's open this one from Visual Studio Code. And now we gonna install Zilliqa SDK on top of our React application. npm install Zilliqa dash js slash Zilliqa. Make sure everything you write here is in simple letters, and I'm going to write a different command end of this one, dash save. Later I will show you why I need save and where I'm going to save this one. Okay, so it's installed and it's completed. I'm going to type yarn start. So if you haven't installed yarn in your computer, you can just go to browser and install yarn, install in your computer. So it will just run the existing application and will show you the initial version of ReactJS application. Cool. Everything just compiled and straight away loaded on your browser. And from this moment onwards, we're going to modify this home page in a way it's provide an authenticate page for the Zilliqa wallet. Let's go back to the code again. Cool. Open this src folder, and that is where everything goes in the React application. And open index.js file. You can see this is the file which bootstrap everything in the ReactJS. Okay. You can see this line of code inside the index.js. So that means you're actually injecting the application module to the index file, and the rest of the code which related to HTML and the CSS is actually going inside this app.js file. Okay, so you have a component created inside app.js, and then you are injecting that inside index.js file. And I'm going to create a new folder called components. That's where all the components supposed to go inside. Let's create a new file inside this. Let's name it as auth.js. So that is actually our authentication component we're going to write inside this. So we are first importing the React JS plugin to the auth.js. Copy paste this here JS file, and we are going to create a new class. We will name it as auth, and that extends from react.component, and then finally we're going to export this component. Then we can import that one in the different place in our application and go inside app.js file. Let's clean up all these things from here. We don't need any of these things. Instead, we are going to import the auth module that we just developed. So obviously it's not taking the module because I'm not importing it. It's just going to import the file. Auth from components dash auth. Cool. So I think everything's fine. Let's go back to the auth.js file. Let's start creating the HTML part of the code that we want to export. Cool. And you can freely write whatever HTML part you want to display in the page. So in our case we did the form. Cool. Let's give an ID to the form. Say auth form, and there are two input fields you want to write. Type file and name key or whatever the name you like. And then they have a text field, that is where your passphrase goes. Text pp and cool. And you need a small button control obviously to click the form where you want to submit it. Let's say restore wallet. Cool, fantastic. So I think up to this point we're fine. Let's go ahead and see if this part of the form is loaded in our application. Wow, you can see that right away it just reflect on the page itself. This is how the ReactJS normally works. You don't need to refresh the page again and again. Whatever you do inside the code, the modifications automatically reflect on the browser. CSS, I'm not definitely going to write my CSS, but instead I've got a web and then grab something from the web, from existing samples. So let's go to the code pen sample and grab some CSS from here, copy this and replace whatever CSS written in. Right, so the form CSS ID is contact. We can replace that with our ID that we have in auth.js file. Our form name is auth form. Let's go ahead and replace the contact form name. Cool, save it. Cool, let's go ahead and see how it looks like now. Okay, so that now it looks a little better than earlier. I'll leave it to you to modify it from here. I'm not going to spend much time to deal with the CSS here, but instead I go to the code and then I integrate the backend with the Zilliqa to this one. Let's start writing some of the essentials you require to integrate the Zilliqa and call the Zilliqa's platform. Let's start by importing Zilliqa library via cool. We just imported Zilliqa SDK and create an object from Zilliqa class equals Zilliqa, that means the class that we just imported, and then we're gonna pass, excuse me, this is one mistake, it should be new Zilliqa, and we're passing the library, we are passing the Zilliqa develop API to this one, to the constructor while creating an object. .com. Cool. So this is a form plugin. This is a form control and it needs to be submitted to the server. Before we submit, we need to have the form. We need to define JavaScript function to accept the form parameters, obviously. So we'll get on submit event, and the ReactJS syntax applies from here. We can give a name like this.auth, let's say auth Zilliqa something, and then that method is gonna write in here auth Zilliqa. Cool. And I'm gonna pass the parameter, that means the form element, and then the HTML from here is a general HTML that we know. We can write the form data to accept the form data. It's submitted from the form. Excuse me, I always forget a new keyword. And this one is a target, and then that will assign all the form data with form data variable. Cool. So from here it's just a matter of reading the variables from form data. Let's say passphrase equals form data dot get, and then the the name of the property, name of the field, that is pp, and that will then give us the passphrase. I will do a small modification here. Since it's a password field, I can give a type as password other than the text, then it will hide the whatever the information you type on the form. So it's better, best practice. Cool. Now as a second step, I want to read my file control. Okay, so let's type let file key store. I'm going to give case equals form data dot get and the property name is a key store. Copy paste this one. Nice. And then the second step is the most challenging one. So we acquired all the form data submitted from the form. Now we're gonna read this file, the actual file content, and store it in a JSON variable. So how we're gonna do that is we need a HTML method for that. That is a file reader. Let's say I gives a file equals new file reader, and then we need to read the file contents from the file reader. So what we're going to do is fr.read as text. So method, we need to pass the file to that and the type UTF-8. Cool. Then I want to write the callback method to accept the data which comes from here equals function event. This will actually come as a parameter, and here I'm going to accept that to variable called JSON equals e.target.result, and that will then store the values returned to the JSON variable. Now the most important thing is how we pass this data to the Zilliqa API to authenticate our identity. Let's start by typing constant. This method of Zilliqa returns address if authentication works fine, and I'm going to type zilliqa.wallet dot add by key store. So I need to add the data to the key store to authenticate. That is the JSON data passphrase, and from here it's a general JavaScript dot. There's a catch, promise comes from behind, and that we need to handle from here as an error. It's a arrow function. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so that's fine up to this point. And then most important thing I want to particularly mention at this point is Zilliqa methods work as asynchronous methods. So I mentioned that quite a few times in my previous videos as well. Don't forget to add the await keyword here and understand the results come as a background method from behind. So then since this one is await here, the parent method has to be async at this, like, okay. So if the authentication fine, we can get the address as a return data from this method. So we are passing the key store file and the passphrase and authenticate our identity against the platform, and then a platform returns the address for that if everything goes well. Then I'm going to alert that address to see as a confirmation. Now let's go back to the React and see it works as we expect, and write a passphrase here and click the restore wallet. Right, so it takes, I think, couple of seconds. Totally fine. So it's worked as we expect. So today we learned how to integrate the React.js front-end to the Zilliqa, and that integration demonstration with the live code. So I highly recommend you to follow this video from the beginning if you are someone who is learning the smart contracts with the Zilliqa, as well as you are someone who is new to JavaScript. Zilliqa provides a decentralized, high throughput, high scalable platform which has never been before in the blockchain industry. While you are increasing the nodes in the network, Zilliqa provides the more and more scalability and more throughput and the transaction speed. So that's the specialty about this one. That's why I'm more impressed and I'm interested on learning Zilliqa. So I highly encourage you start working with Zilliqa if you're interested in Dapps and decentralized application development. And if you are new to this one, this is the best place where you can get started the things. And I highly recommend you keep in touch with our channel and subscribe to my channel and put a thumbs up if you like this video and if you learn something out of that. Cheers.